Hello and welcome to Mediumship Matters with me, Hannah McIntyre. And I've got another great special guest for you today. Today I'm chatting to Amanda Tooke, who is an angel mystic, a psychic, a manifesting genius, an author, a hypnotherapist, NLP coach. You do so much stuff, Amanda. I'm so excited to talk to you. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Really, really excited. Now, I know that you are a busy lady. You have got loads and loads of things going on. So talk to us. I always like to start at the beginning, actually. So tell us how you got into this way of life. What started it all for you?
I'd always had a real big desire to learn about spiritual things. My nana was spiritual, and she used to teach me bits like palm reading and tea leaves and Ouija boards.
Oh, lovely.
I don't recommend people sort of jumping on those, but different stuff like that. So there'd always been sort of that sort of interest. And then of course it was frowned upon, wasn't it? You know, a lot of people sort of like, oh, roll their eyes. And so I sort of fumbled in the dark with it a lot. And I can remember having my first set of tarot cards and wondering what the heck to do with them, and a pendulum, and thinking, well, looks great. But I had this huge desire to learn everything and wanted to know it now. You know, it was just like, So I guess I was in my spiritual closet for a lot longer than I wanted to be. I can remember years ago when, you know, you could go out underage drinking. It wasn't
the glory days.
And I sometimes used to fund my nights out by, you know, oh, can you read my palm? Okay, will you buy me a drink? You know, that type of thing. So it used to be just a bit of fun, but I always had this desire sort of to be more serious with it. And then life, you know, doesn't always go to plan, does it? And no. In 2000, I was going through a divorce, and I can remember really being in this dark place and sat in my living room and on the floor after signing the divorce papers and stuff, and crying and saying to someone or something to help me. I always had a belief. I was brought up in a religious family, but I didn't really do the going to church and the God thing so comfortably. But I did have a belief it was something bigger and greater than us. And so I was asking for help, you know, whoever, whatever could help at that time. And I found that I started to get that inner strength that I needed. And that sort of navigated me through my divorce. And then I started asking, oh, who are you? What are you? And if it is an angel, can you give me a sign? And that's when the little white feathers started, and rainbows and butterflies and all the signs that, you know, are standard with angels. And I actually moved into doing some counselling. I used to work at social services after I got divorced, and I was training to be a counsellor as well. And in this counselling session one day, I was working with somebody else on the course, and she just offloaded all her stuff to me, and I felt so overwhelmed, and I didn't know what to say to her, how to help her navigate it all. And I ended up saying to her, do you know what, you need to ask your angels to help you, but don't tell anyone I told you. Because I thought people would be really skeptical and think I was a bit crazy. And then fast forward a few years, my life took another sort of curveball, and I used to have a B&B. I left social services and because I wanted to be stay-at-home mum, and bought a bed and breakfast, and then got ill and found that I couldn't run the bed and breakfast, so I had to sell the bed and breakfast and moved into opening this business, which, you know, I absolutely love, and is 13 years on now. But when I first opened it, it was basically just doing my hobby for, you know, seeing what happened. I had no idea. There was no business plan. There was no, it was just let's wing it and see what happens. So I opened my shop because Spirit told me exactly which shop to go and take the lease on. They told me what to call it. They told me where to buy things from, what to stock. It was incredible how from viewing the shop to opening the shop, it was less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was really, really easy. And you know when things are right, don't you, when things are easy. And I can't say I made a lot of money at the beginning. I certainly didn't. But I loved doing what I was doing. I was doing my hobby every day. I was playing with crystals and playing with angel cards and talking to people about stuff that I never could normally talk about. And, you know, and not only was I coming out of my spiritual closet in a community where I'd sort of grown up, but I was also, you know, letting other people sort of embrace their spiritual side. And that felt really, really good. And I really liked that. But one day this woman walked in and she went, "Do you remember me?" And I went, "Yeah, I do." Her name was Angie, actually. And she said, "You know, look at you doing all this about angels and spiritual stuff now. I can always remember when we did our counselling that you said to me about angels, but don't tell anyone that, you know,
Yeah.
about angels." And here I was, loud and proud about angels. And do you know what? It just rolled and rolled and rolled. And obviously that was 13 years ago when I started it. I've done TV, radio, I write for Fate and Fortune magazine. And now everything is online. It's nothing, there's no shop to go to. And I just adore what I do. You know, I really do.
Amazing. So when you look back on your life and the difficult times that you've mentioned, your divorce and obviously illness and things like that, do you feel like it was the universe showing you what wasn't in alignment with you? Do you feel like it was spirit guiding you, that you needed to go through these experiences? What's your take on it looking back?
I think everything we go through, we have to go through. It's, you know, life cycle lessons, isn't it? It's full of lessons that you could think of it as school, if you like, for the soul. We've come here to grow, to learn, to experience, and to have a human reality, even though we're spiritual beings. What actually was your question in all of that? Because that
Sorry,
was the answer that
I do ask long questions. The question was, do you feel like those things came to show you a different way, or do you feel like you got them from being out of alignment? What's your take on the difficult times that you had?
I think in every difficult time that we have, not just me, that we all have, there is a lesson, a learning, a blessing, and a gift. And those, when we can hold on to that, even in the darkest moments, even in the crappy bits of life, we can find something to be grateful for. And I think I was divinely guided more than manifested it consciously.
Yeah.
At that stage,
sure.
I have definitely jumped on the manifesting.
Yeah.
Manifested it more consciously. But I think back then I was fumbling around, because when I had to get sell my B&B, that was my home and my income, and I was a single parent with 2 kids. It, you know, it was a pretty dark time again, you know. Yeah, my health was influenced, so it was
Yeah, well, that's why I asked, because I know it's really interesting, and everybody seems to have a different perspective on whether we come here and there's a list of lessons waiting for us and we just follow, or whether we create some of the lessons as we go, what the lessons are for, how much they're for life stuff, how much they're for soul stuff, and everything in between. So I just want to get your take on it, having been through some extreme experiences there.
I think for me, the way I look at it is that when we're looking at what the lesson, the learning, the gift and the blessing is in those difficult things, if you can think of the lesson as, you know, if you were in school and you were in the history block or the maths block, that's the lesson. It's a subject.
I love it.
When you go into what the learning is, it's like what you're learning. So if it was history, you were talking about the Tudors or something like that. And break it down like that. And there is always a gift and there is always a blessing. And when you can get to that, that's when you get the growth. And that's when you don't keep getting the repeat lessons over and over again. I mean, who wants to keep repeating the same stuff? Come on, and sometimes life feels like that. It's like, oh, not this again, not this again. But maybe some people have come into this life to learn about trust. Maybe some people have come in to learn, it could be anything really, but
Mhm.
for example, it was trust. You could have so many different experiences that you can consciously manifest that would give you that experience of trust. And it might be that your past lives are coming through as well, and your soul is needing to grow, because I see your soul as something that comes in many, many lifetimes. This is not our first rodeo by any shape or form. And I remember Spirit showing me years ago like a ladder of ascension. And it's easy to think our parents are older and wiser than us, but often from a soul perspective they're not. So I know that I am an older soul than my parents, but I know that my son is an older soul than me, so he's had more lifetimes than me. So on this ladder of ascension, which is what the soul grows on, my son is up here, I'm here, and my parents are down here. But it's nothing to do with your age in this physical reality this time round.
Love it, love it. So with the ladder, do you ever get off it?
Oh, that's a good question. I know when you're going from rung to rung, it feels a little bit wobbly until you've got yourself back on the stable on the ladder again. Every time you're taking that step up, it's that real big sort of lesson in really trusting what you're receiving. I think you get off it when you no longer reincarnate.
Yeah. And so, but this is interesting. So you believe that souls reincarnate until a point, and then their reincarnation journey is done, like Buddha, and then they are finished with earthly experience. I've got so many questions about this. So here's a question for you: past lives. Do you believe that it's linear in our experience of time? So you would come as a Victorian person, and then you would come in the 90s, and then or do you believe that we pop in and out for the best lessons for our souls? Multidimensional. So you believe that we can have lives in the future as well as lives in the past?
Yeah.
Excellent. Girl, I was just wondering if we were on the same page. It's so funny. And so this is interesting, because I know we're going to talk about your work with manifesting in a moment, but Abraham Hicks, who are the Esther is very clear, isn't she, that we come here for the joy of creation, which I think is a lovely idea once you've done the lessons and you've got to that point. But I think if you're I can imagine someone saying that to me when I was going through some of my bad experiences, and I would quite cheerfully punch them in the face. So it's good to hear someone else talking about the fact that we need the lessons and the soul growth in it, because I think that's important and often gaslit out of the manifestation story.
Yeah.
Interesting. So tell us about because you have created a manifesting program, haven't you? Manifesting abundance process that you do as part of your abundance club. So tell us a bit about that.
That is all about having a daily practice, because the difference between successful manifestors and unsuccessful manifestors, because we're all manifesting all the time in every given moment, it's our vibration that's going out that is reflecting back to us using the law of attraction. But there isn't just law of attraction, there's many laws that we can use within the universe. But when I have personally found the difference between me sort of freewheeling in life and just getting what comes along, and being very conscious about my thoughts and my feelings and working on my stuff always, means that I need a really good daily practice. Just reaching to get something on my desk, which is what is in the journal, the manifesting journal.
Oh, lovely.
But it also is delivered via the manifesting abundance process in Abundance Club, which is my membership site. And that's my private membership community where people can come along, say for as little as long as they like, and learn how to have a daily practice that works for them, because we're all busy people, and some days we do have bad days and we end up running late and there's no time to do anything. But if you just have one bad day, then you end up having, oh, I missed that yesterday and I got away with that, so that's okay, so I won't continue to do that part of my practice. Next thing, you're off the wagon and you're wondering why life's going, oh my God, where's all these problems coming from? And you're just consumed again. So I've found that being very conscious manifester is giving my thoughts over to what it is that I want to draw into my life. So I've created a process where people can have 3 levels of non-negotiable things that you should do every day, no matter what, no matter how difficult your day is. You'd still be making sure that you're doing energy hygiene and grounding and protection. You should still set an intention. You still should find some gratitude in the crappiest of days. So you could ground and protect sat on the loo. You can set an intention as you're running to the bathroom, and you could, as you're climbing into bed at night, you could do gratitude for 3 things, and you would still be on track. Now, what that does in your unconscious mind is that you haven't fell off your wagon. So you don't feel like, oh my God, I've given up with my manifesting. I am still on track with my manifesting. I haven't done as much as I would normally do. I haven't visualized what it is that I want today, but that's okay. I am still on track. And Abundance Club has it's been going for about 7 years now, actually, and it's got a really lovely community, and it just feels like you've just been welcomed into a family that you've always been wanted to be in, because everyone gets it, everyone understands, and it's a really lovely place to hang out. And we do challenges every month, and there's lots of masterclasses in there, so it's a really nice community. It's the community I love about Abundance Club.
Which is so important, isn't it? When you're finding your way in this spiritual path, it can be very lonely. And I'm like you, I wasn't in churches or anything like that. So you don't have that sort of pre-made community of people to turn to. You are trying to navigate it by yourself and having these crazy experiences that you can't talk to people about. So that sounds amazing. So tell us, now I know you're very excited about your new book, Alice Meets Twinkle. Can you tell us a bit about Alice Meets Twinkle, please?
Look at it. Alice Meets, in fact, on my shelf up here, there's a little red-haired doll. That's Alice.
Oh.
Alice Meets Twinkle was an idea that Spirit gave to me when I was working at social services, when I was taking all the new referrals and hearing what went on behind closed doors for some children, and it really saddened me. And they said they need to know about their angels, and I was sat back there and going, I don't even know what to do about that. It was like, how do you expect me to do that? And then I've got 2 little granddaughters now, and it felt like the time was right to sort of bring this book to life. I had the stories in my head, and then got them onto paper, and then worked with an amazing artist who turned it all into wonderful images. So Alice Meets Twinkle launched end of last year, just before Christmas, and there's 4 stories in there about this little girl called Alice who meets her angel called Twinkle, and how Twinkle helps her navigate the things that kids have to navigate. So I honestly, my mission, the reason I'm here on earth, is to let everybody know that they have angels, and also for them to be able to create the reality that they want by getting out their own way. And especially for children, I would love to see angels being taught in school, and kids having angel hour, and oh my goodness, that would just be so good. So I'm very, very passionate about that, and I would love every child to be able to get their hands on
lovely
Alice Meets Twinkle, because that's so important for me. Sorry,
that's amazing. And is that's available through your website?
It is, but it's also available on Amazon as well.
Amazing. Good. I will put a link to your website in the show notes, as the listeners know, but it's still just nice to know where they can get it. And that's amazing. Now, you've done loads of books, because you've also got the Manifesting Manual. You've got the one you just spoke to us about there. Tell us about the Manifesting Manual then.
The Manifesting Manual is everything you need to know about manifesting. It's got examples in, it's got exercises. It's great if you want to work on your money story, whatever you want to manifest. It'll give you a process to follow for you to be able to do that. That took me to best-selling author internationally when that launched, so that was great. But yeah, I'm very to the point, so you don't have to read this book for months. It's a short book, but I don't like to mince my words really, but I just like to give people what they need to know. And yeah, it's all in there, the manifesting manual.
I love it. And
Mm.
that's very much, that'll fit with the listeners anyway, because they know I don't mess around either, because I think sometimes you can get so lost in storytelling and that people have lost what your actually point was, which is a bit like my question earlier as an example. So you've got all of that going on, which is amazing. And you also
I have one more, Hannah. Can
I thought you had. Yeah, do
yeah.
it.
This is the angel book. This is the first book I wrote. Yeah, this is everything you need to know about your angels.
Do I have an angel, is it called?
Yeah. Do I have an angel? Because that's the question that everybody asks. Do I have an angel? Yes, you do.
Incredible. Actually, which leads me to another question I want to ask you. So if you are just an ordinary, for inverted commas, person, and you are wanting to communicate, what's the best starting point to connect with your angel, would you say?
Angels are already with us. Okay, so we all have our guardian angels with us, but we get humanized. So when we come into life, I believe that we're fully connected to spirit. We're spiritual beings having this human reality. But it's easy to not be quiet and not go within and not ask for the help and struggle for too long. So your angel can't help you unless you ask. So you do need to ask your angel to help you. I think it's better to ask from a place of gratitude and appreciation. So rather than saying, please, can you, just saying, thank you for helping me with whatever it is that you need. But they're not offended. You know, you can't do anything to shake the buggers off, to be fair. They're just stuck to you. Probably with their head in their hands going, oh, really? You didn't really ask for help with that. But yeah, you just need to start asking. You can ask in your head, you can shout it out loud, you can write it down. They don't mind. They're tickling my nose a lot while we're doing this recording. So that's often one of the sounds that they give me when they're around me. But the sad thing is that angel energy is very subtle. And so many people can think, well, my angel's ignoring me. I asked, but they never delivered. They always, always, always deliver. But we often ignore. And that's because we're busy with life. So we whiz past that feather that was put in our way. You know, we don't notice the sparkly lights at the corners of our eyes. We get a buzzing in our ear and we think it's tinnitus. You know, it's all of those sorts of things that may be going on that we're putting down to something else. And the angels are going, for goodness sake, you asked for help and here we are. And you are just totally ignoring us. But like I said, they're not offended.
That's so true of all spirit work. I think people always say to me, I wish I could feel, and I think I wish I could, you know, really feel, have a real tangible, hey, Hannah, I'm here. It'd be lovely, but it just doesn't work like that, does it? So you do beautiful readings for people with your connections to angels. And when you're reading for people, do you connect to your angels, their angels, all the angels? How does it work?
When I'm doing an angel reading, I use my angel cards that I created. So it's another product. And you can see on social media, I do quite a lot of lives with these. They're very accurate cards. So I use those as a tool, but I'm channeling from their angels because our angels know everything about us. And so I'm channeling from that person's angels when I'm delivering messages.
Amazing. And so what sort of things do you cover in an angel reading for somebody?
Angel readings are more about telling you where you're at now and how to move forward positively. And what you need to do. Yeah, it's not giving evidence of spirit, you know, your loved ones and things. It's more your angels. Nobody knows you better than your angels, you know, and you can hide it from yourself sometimes, but you can't hide it from your angels.
Absolutely. So sort of opening people up to their potential, helping them on their healing journey, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Amazing. I love it. Talk to me about timeline therapy. What does that involve?
Oh, that's a good one. So it's an NLP process, neuro-linguistic programming, which works with your unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind is that part of you that is where all your beliefs live. So, you know, we can want to do something, but we get in our own way because we have a limiting belief of not feeling worthy or deserving or good enough or all of that. Timeline therapy is a process where you go on your timeline and clear the 5 negative emotions of fear, anger, hurt, sadness, and guilt. and you go to the first point in time that you experience one of those emotions, which might be past life, passed down genealogically. It might have been when you were being born in the womb. We're talking early on. And the way that the unconscious mind stores memories, it stores them all together. So all fearful memories are together, but all happy memories are together. It's like a filing system. So when you unlock the first one and clear the first one, the first time it felt fear, all the others fall off as well.
Oh, wow.
It is a very liberating experience to no longer have fear, anger, hurt, sadness, and guilt in your life.
And must help with manifesting as well, because that must
hugely.
all weave together.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
amazing.
I do it because I had it and I felt it was incredible. And I just think everybody needs timeline, because we're all carrying around so much stuff, aren't we?
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
it would be incredible for us to be free of that.
So talking about things with everybody, what is one thing about the spirit world that you wish everybody knew?
Oh, good question. That it's not scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were saying, "Oh, do you get involved much where you live?" I went, "Oh no, I don't really like people. I much prefer dead people."
Agreed. My husband always said that to me. He always says, I thought that all this spirit work was going to make you more patient. And I was like, no, no. I'm much nice. I love the spirit world, but humans are intrinsically hard to be around, I think.
Totally. I remember, because so many people are fearful of opening up to spirit because they think something dark and sinister is going to happen. And that's not my experience of it at all. It's been absolutely incredible opening up to spirit, and I love the support you can have every day. And I just love it. I could talk about it all day. But anyway, one experience I did have.
Oh yeah, go on.
I used to live in quite a big house, and it was quite rural. And I woke up one night to somebody sitting on my bed in the middle of the night, and before I even opened my eyes, I'm going, "Oh, please let it be spirit, not a person." And I mean, a lot of other people might have really wanted it to be a person, but not for me. No, I wanted it to be spirit and not a person. No, spirit don't scare me at all. I've had loads of incredible experiences with spirit.
Me too. So that actually leads me to something that I did want to ask you earlier. So when you're talking about your daily practices in your abundance club, and one of them being protection, you're not protecting from the spirit world.
Human world.
Human world, agreed. Same girl, same, all the way.
Negative energy,
Yeah.
Vampires. Yeah, energy hygiene is making sure that you are focusing on what it is that you want, and that you're not being drained by other people. And
this just so incredible. So can you share with us, I mean, I know you've got lots of great experiences that you've told us about already, but can you tell us some great experiences that you've had with your angels that you could share with the listeners? We love a story.
Oh gosh, I don't know where to start. Great experiences. My life has transformed because I was a single mum, living on benefits up to my eyes in debt, and now I live in a 6-bedroom house by the sea with a Range Rover on the drive. I mean, that's all down to manifestation and working with my angels. But the one thing my angels give me every day is inner peace, and that's the best manifestation in my book. I mean, whatever happens.
Absolutely.
Amazing things that they've given me. A manifestation that happened yesterday was, I woke up yesterday morning thinking I damaged my car, and I'm a bit obsessed about cars. I'll happily wear my Crocs that are dog chewed, and I have no but my car is my thing. And I thought, how am I going to get my car fixed? And this guy came to fix an alloy. So I had alloy insurance, which I damaged when I drove over this particular rock. And he's managed to fix, and that's what's happening right now. So it's like, oh my God, I didn't know how that would happen. And it's just, I just set that intention and asked my angels, surrendered it, and lo and behold, things happen. That happens every day. How the angels help me, how they, give you the courage, the strength, the the motivation, the good ideas. Like, I don't know what to cook for tea, ask my angels. Oh, okay, there we go, there's the idea. Everyday stuff and big stuff too, you know, manifesting a hot tub, manifesting a free cruise. Like when I moved house and the angels were helping me move, and it was all, you know, as seamless as it possibly could be. And my manifestation board, my vision board, fell apart in the house move, and the only thing left on it was a cruise. And I said to the kids, oh, when we've got settled, I'm going to manifest us a cruise. We're going to go on holiday. And I think they thought, yeah, whatever. And then 10 days later, my phone pinged and it said, fancy a free cruise? I think it was 12 nights around the Canaries. Oh, let me think. And it was a client, a one-to-one client, who was asking me to go on a cruise. And as it was, I went. And then, you know, when I changed a booking in for one of her family members that could no longer go, and I took their cabin, and it was a cabin for 4. So I paid for my kids to go and I went for free. So
incredible.
You know, things like that happen all the time. But for angels, specifically for angels, it has got to be the inner strength. That's what they are so good at giving us. Like, you know, fear of dentists. I remember having to have a tooth out last year, and I was so scared, but the angels just, you know, sorted it out for me. You know, if you're wanting to get an appointment anywhere, you know, if you're doctors, hairdressers, whatever, ask your angels first before you start, you know, doing anything. I mean, that's the thing I'd probably say most in life. Have you asked your angels yet? Have you?
I love it.
You know.
And do you need any time lapse between asking them? Can you ask them just before you make the call, or do you need to give them 24 hours?
Oh God, no, just go for it. Ask when you remember. You know, they're so good at parking spaces, and that's why I always get people to do, but they're so much better than just parking spaces.
I love your examples as well, because regular listeners will know that I did my spirit stories recently, and this was all about my work with spirit guides, and they have been very practical with me. It's not been woo-woo airy, it's been life stuff, like you say, what should I cook for dinner, or getting an appointment. It's the help in the physical, I think, is absolutely amazing. We can all float off to an ether, but it's the help here that we need, isn't it?
Yeah. And look, because my kids have been brought up on angels and manifesting, it's all they know how to do, and they're both brilliant at it. And when I first moved here, we'd gone over the road last summer. It was a boiling hot day to go and get something to eat in this like complex, and there was an undercover bit, and it was too hot. It was when we had that really hot weather, and it was too hot to be out in the direct sun, and we wanted a table in the shade, and the only table we could get was in the sun. So we sat at the table in the sun, and then all 3 of us must have asked at the same time for a table in the shade, and 3 came up in the shade. It was so funny. We're like, did you all ask? We're all going, yeah.
I love it. That's such a great story. Oh, well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us all today. It's been really lovely to hear your story and hear about all your amazing books and all the things that you've got going on. So I will pop a link to your website in the show notes, and everyone can catch up with you there.
Oh, thank you so much.